Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how you can create the layout for your tablet and for your mobile screen sizes. So far we've built a website in the medium desktop, so we've been working in this area here and that's given us our medium desktop view. Let's quickly look at that in the browser. So we go and preview in Safari, we can see our website there. This is the medium desktop view, so this is how things are laid out in that view. Now the website is already responsive, even though we haven't set, say for example, how we want it to appear as a tablet or how we want it to appear as a mobile. It is going to respond anyhow. So as I shrink my browser window, you can see that elements on the page, such as the banner for example, is automatically resizing itself. That's because we set that as a responsive image. And when we get down to our tablet view, which is here, you can see how the layout changes. So you can see that the video drops down underneath. So before, these were side by side, the video and the text. There's our carousel. Our 4 columns suddenly drop down and become one after the other, rather than being 4 alongside each other. Our address and our Google map now sit underneath each other rather than alongside. And also in our footer, everything sits underneath each other rather than it being 4 spread across. So that's what's happening automatically in the tablet view. And then when we get down to the mobile view, we can see that when we get down to here, that everything just starts to sit underneath each other again, very similar to the tablet view. So everything just goes and squashes itself down in terms of the mobile view. Now that might be okay. You might think, well, yeah, that's okay, that's fine, I can live with that. That looks alright, I don't mind that, that's working okay. But it's not quite what we want. I want to show you how you can control what's going to happen to your page elements in tablet view and in mobile view. So let's go back to Dreamweaver and let's have a look at that. So what you need to do is you need to click here to switch to the tablet size. So we've been working by clicking on this purple bar above the 992 pixels to be working in the medium desktop. So now let's click here and it switches our view and shows us basically what we've just seen in the browser. It's showing us what the page is going to look like. It's saying, hey, this is how it's going to look when it's in the browser at a tablet size. So what I need to do is I need to come through and decide, actually, I don't like this layout here. I actually want these to be two by two. So I want these to be sitting so that we have 2 alongside each other. Now to do that, what you need to do is come down to the last one, and it's very important you do it on the last one, so you don't start on the first one that's in that row. There's 4 elements in that row. What you need to do is click on it, and then you've got this little resize option here. So if I drag that along, I need that to be 6 columns. Now I've just gone a little bit too far there. If I just drag that along, what you'll see as I'm dragging this, I want you to keep your eye on this number up here. This number changes. So as we drag it, we want that to say col SM6. SM is what we need in Bootstrap to say that it's a tablet size. MD is for a medium desktop. So I've resized that to 6. Now I need to come and resize this one to say that it's going to take up 6 columns at the tablet size. So at the medium desktop size, it's to say that it's going to take up 3 columns. So if it's only taken up 3 columns, then there's another 3 columns, another 3 columns, and another 3 columns, and all 4 of these can sit next to each other. But in the tablet, I'm saying they're to occupy 6 columns. So you can only fit 2 side by side, remembering that you always have to add up to 12. So let's do these 2 as well. So let's put that one to 6 as well, and then let's put this one to 6 as well. Okay, and what you'll see then is that they sit side by side. So what this code is saying is that at desktop view, then they're to occupy 3 columns, and that will allow all 4 elements to sit alongside each other. But when we get to tablet view, then they are to occupy 6 columns, so you can only fit 2 side by side, which is what we're looking for. I think I'm quite happy with a map like that and the address like that, but I'm definitely not happy with the navigation menu, so I'm going to click here and resize that as well. So I want that to go down to I think I want that to go down to, let's put that to 4, and then let's put that to, let's go for free there, and we need to go for free there. Let's just make sure that one is free. I think I was looking at the wrong column there. There we go, column SM free. And then, so that gives us 3, 3, 6, so that gives us a 4 there, doesn't it? In fact, we might need to go down smaller than that. So let's click on this one again. Let's put that down to take up 2, and this one to take up 2. So we've got 4, that's 8, and then we can put this one down to 4 as well, and that will allow all of them to sit next to each other. So it's making sure you do your maths. It's not that difficult because you've just got to get to 12, but we've got 4, and then if we click on this one, we've got 2, and we've got 2, and we've got another, again, 4. So that adds up to 12. Okay, so that's not looking too bad. Let's go and save that and preview in Safari and see what happens. So yeah, we're going to save. So here's our desktop view. Okay, and what we can see is we can see that this text sits alongside the video. We've got these are allowed to occupy 3 columns at the medium desktop view, so you can get all 4 next to each other. These 2 occupy 6, and then we've got down here, haven't we, another sort of I think this is set to 3, 3, 3 and 3, giving us 12. Now when we go down to our desktop though, okay, rather than before where it was all stacking one under the other, we've now got it so that these elements are sitting side by side. So that now works a lot better when we're coming down into these elements here. And then when we get down all the way to our footer down at the bottom, you can see it sits side by side, whereas previously that was all stacking underneath each other. If we now go down to mobile view, it's automatically going to stack everything one on top of the other. And again, that's not something that we want. We're happy with it on these elements. I'm happy for those because you won't be able to fit them side by side. You could assign them 6 columns and 6 columns again at the extra small mobile phone size, but I think they'd be too small to sit alongside each other. So what I'm going to do is going to come back here and now click on the green bar at the top here, because this now represents the mobile view, and you can see that it changes to what we just had in the browser in the mobile view. So again, I'm happy for all of that the way that it looks. I might write some more CSS rules in a moment to change the way some of this is laying out, but for the moment I just need to come down and say, okay, I've got to focus down here, this doesn't look right. Well, the first thing is I don't think I need this div to show anymore. So with this particular div, I'm just going to click on it and then right mouse click, and I'm going to say hide this element. In fact, what I might do is I might go back to the actual, now we'll stick with that element there. We're going to take that element and we're going to hide that element. So just right mouse clicking and say hide element. It disappears altogether. That means that on the mobile view, that section of our page just disappears. Now I think that the banner is too small to view as well when it's on a mobile screen. So I'm going to click on this one as well and pick up that. Let's go back up to the top and pick up that. And what I'm going to do here is go back and pick up the row and tell it that I want that to be hidden as well. So I'm going to hide that row. In other words, I don't want the banner to show at the mobile screen size. Okay, I also don't want these to all sit next to each other. So what I'm going to do with these is I need to resize them. So at the extra small, starting at the bottom again, I think I want that to take up, let's go for 6 columns on that one, and let's go for 3 on this one and 3 on this one, and that should allow everything to sit side by side. Now that hidden element down the bottom here, let's just have a quick look at that in the browser and see if that is working the way that we wanted it to at the mobile phone size. So we got down to the mobile phone size and our banner is gone, which is what we asked it to do. We keep coming down through here and having a look at our footer, and yes, that bit's hidden, but it looks like we've hidden the wrong bit. So we may need to go back in and have a little bit of a play with what's going on down there in that section. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down, come to this area and switch to code view. And let's have a look at what's going on in the code view down at the bottom of the page where our footer is. So at the moment what I've done is I've told it to hide this particular section here. So when it gets to this div, we want it to be hidden, and that's correct. So when it's at the medium desktop view, you want it to be taking up 3 columns. At the tablet desktop view, you want it to be 4 columns, and then when it gets down to the mobile screen, the extra small view, you want it to hide. The problem is that an offset has been added to the footer row. I don't know how that happened. I must have right clicked in the wrong place and chose something a little bit different. I'm going to take off that offset. Offset allows you to push a group of columns across the page. Let's go back to live view, and again let's preview. That should have solved that little issue, and save. Okay, so our banner disappears. Let's just scroll all the way down and just check out that. There you go, the footer looks much better now. That's better. We haven't got an offset on the side here pushing everything over to one side. So let's just have a look at what happens when we open this up to tablet. What you should see is that that comes back in, the banner comes back in as well. As we go down to mobile, the banner disappears. Yep, it's all looking good. And then when we get to the desktop, the layout changes. So what I'm trying to show you here is by choosing these different media queries, these different breakpoints for screen sizes, you can then come along, select rows and resize how many columns they are to occupy at that particular screen or media query breakpoint. And the key thing is there is that allows you then to control the layout of the content on your page. So that's what we've got going on here. We've got another offset going on here by the looks of it. So let's just scroll down and have a look. That looks all okay to me. I just don't think that's updated itself in the live view. Okay, so we'll just check that out as well. Just go to preview in Safari. So that was on the tablet view. Let's just make sure that looks okay in the tablet view. Yeah, it does look okay on the browser preview. So it's always advisable to view things in the browser. They may not look 100% accurate in Dreamweaver's live view. Okay, so when we get down to the mobile view, there are a couple of issues. One, I don't like this all being over on the left hand side. So what I'm going to do is on the mobile view, I'm going to create here, by clicking here, I'm going to click to add that at this width, this maximum width. So I'm going to click to add a max width value here. What that will do is it will create a media breakpoint saying the maximum width. I want to add that to my layout CSS, so my style sheet up here. It's going to create a new point for me. So what I can do here is I can now set a CSS rule that will only apply to elements that are below that 767 pixels. In other words, only CSS rules that I write for this will affect the mobile screen size. So they will not affect what happens at the desktop or what happens at the tablet size. So these media query breakpoints are really key, and you can create them by clicking the plus and then choosing either less than or more than, and that allows you then to create CSS rules that are unique and will only apply at that screen size. So what I want to do here is I want these elements here. So this row, for example, which I'm going to come and pick up, which is my div row columns, I'm going to add a CSS rule to that, which is only going to apply at this breakpoint. And what that's going to do is I'm going to go to text alignment, and I'm going to center align. So when I do that, it centers all of that content look, okay, at that page. The other thing that I might do as well is I might create here, for example, on my buttons, I might create a little bit of a margin just below those so that we've got a little bit of space. So again, if I just click on a button, create a new CSS rule, I might just go to layout now and just say, okay, for that, I just want a bit of margin at the bottom, and we might go here just for example for 1 EM. and that just creates a bit of space here at the bottom on this particular view, and that's because on that view I felt like the heading was touching the bottom of the button for each one. Okay, the other element that was a little bit tricky was this section here, which is our header area. So I'm going to create a new CSS rule just by clicking the element and then coming over here choosing the plus. I'm going to add a CSS rule for that, so just press enter to accept that. And I think what I need to do here is I need to create a bit of a margin maybe on the left hand side, again of, let's try 1 EM. That looks like it's a bit too much, so let's try 0.5 EM. And the problem with that was that that text was right over the edge. Again, that looks too much. Oh, the mouse has scrolled across. Let's try 0.2, but not minus 0.2 EMs. There we go. We just want to push it off the edge because it was stuck right over on the edge here. Okay, and I'm just going to click off to enter that and apply that. So these rules will only apply at this maximum width, which happens to be our mobile phone size. Well, let's check it out. So let's preview in Safari. Let's say yes. Okay, so when we go to our desktop, you can see how things are laid out. There isn't any extra margin being applied to the bottom of these buttons in this view. It all looks good. The layout is fine. We're happy with that. When we go down to the desktop, the tablet view, and scroll down, we can see maybe we need to add a breakpoint for the tablet as well to sort out this issue here because it's occurring on the tablet view. But otherwise everything seems to be okay. And then when we get down to the mobile phone size, we can see that this is no longer stuck on this edge, it's come in, which is what we set. And if we scroll down, we can see that we've now got a little bit of gap here. We need to add that on the tablet view. And we can also see that this content is centering itself, which is another one of the rules that we set specifically for the mobile phone size. So go to the tablet and it all jumps and becomes left aligned. Go down to the mobile screen size and you can see here that it all becomes central. So these breakpoints that you can create allow you to apply specific CSS rules that will only work when the web page is viewed at that screen size.